Hello everybody and welcome back to the next episode of the What Topic Podcast number 25, and I know I got it right this time, with your host Josh Deacon at Mr. Josh Deacon.
And your co-host Owen Burkett at Owen.Burkett.
Yes, and we're back again, keeping the streak going. I'm going to keep mentioning that because it's always at the top of my head when I start the episode with you, Owen. I don't know, it's just like ingrained in my head and I'm like, yes, we're on track. But we've got some good news.
Yeah, well, for now. Yeah. So, some actual, good things to talk about. So, as we always try to do. So, yeah. I think we got like quite a lot of sort of Marvel related sort of stuff to talk about. But also we're giving some DC news a chance. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess a good place to start would be, of course, if you haven't watched it yet, Loki launched in the UK. It's launched on Disney Plus this week. It also has actually broken a record already. It's actually had, I believe just in the UK alone, it's had nearly a million people tune in on the first day on a Wednesday as well. So it was actually the biggest, It's the biggest premiere release of all of the new Marvel shows already. Which, I mean, what's that tell you? It tells you that Loki has, he still has presence in the universe of Marvel, doesn't he?
He's always had a massive following ever since, like, I remember when I think it was Thor: The Dark World where he just took over Comic-Con that one time. And he just commanded like the entire audience, and it still shows that he's still got a huge, massive following, and the numbers that have shown, it just proves that having a Loki series is actually worth investing. And you know what? After watching the first episode, I was like, wow, I never thought that they would be able to make a Loki series work, because my worry was that he's just such a supporting character that I was like, so you're gonna make him into a supporting character into the lead. I just wasn't too sure, just because I kept thinking back about Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, even though he got nominated, even in the first film, like, he was nominated for a BAFTA, an Oscar for best actor in a leading role. He was very much like the comedy relief side character, in all honesty, even though he was the headlining actor of those films. But there was a reason why when it was on his own in the fourth and fifth movies, they just didn't work. And that was sort of my sort of train of thought with Loki. With this one, I was like, I don't know. But
to be honest,
I'm glad
I was excited.
I was wrong.
We're both excited for the new
like,
episode, but like I think the thing with Loki that's different is because he's not a. I mean, people can disagree with me, and I completely understand, but I don't think he's considered a main enough character at first to think, oh, okay, he's going to get a TV show. But the more that we've seen of him in the universe, the more we've seen what this show's about, showing that he is actually one of those people that have been able to create a Nexus event. Obviously this is a spoiler here, but like in the trailer it even tells you that he's basically one of those people that have been able to create a Nexus event, and he's basically taken a separate path, which is basically opened a multiverse, and obviously,
well, the fact was that if those of you who watched Endgame, like, it picks up right at the events of Endgame. And
he's in the lift and he goes downstairs and they're trying to basically get the Tesseract and take it away. Obviously, Hulk explodes through the door. Loki gets it by his feet and then grabs it and just goes whoop, and disappears.
And then that's where it goes to. And then obviously, because that wasn't supposed to happen, then that's what transpires. The certain events that he gets captured by the TVA, which is the time.
Variant Authority.
Variant Authority, yeah.
It's funny, actually. They called it the Time Variant Authority Commissioners or something like that for the video that they made. That obviously with Miss Time. Is it Miss Time Face or is it Miss Time Clock? Or
I don't think they said anything. But if they,
I think there's a name for the character that like plays the voice of the doing the tutorial, like what TVA is about and what they're doing. I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool. It felt like you're going for like a ride at a theme park. It's like sort of like
Well,
animated.
it sort of reminded me of like those old sort of videos that those old sort of information like
Infographic,
videos.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's sort of like sort of you find in was it like Fallout or anything like that? It's
Oh
just
yeah,
I just thought it was just cool.
it's a
And
it's a nice
I,
draw.
lo-
It is.
I love like Loki's like just look after the video. He's like, are you for real? Like,
Honestly,
this is the
it's
thing.
so funny. It is. Something else I quite like. People probably, I think a lot of people have drawn attention to this, but the logo of the intro, where it's like do 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 do, and it keeps on changing the letters. A lot of people were not sure what that meant, but like the reason why it flashes that many different changes is basically showing that Loki's personality is always constantly changing. He's always constantly evolving.
Well, it was I didn't read it like that. I read it as like because there's so many variants of Loki.
Supposedly, yes.
Yeah, so there's so the fact that I just thought that each Loki is just not going to be the same.
I mean, we've obviously got Miss Loki, which I believe is the character that was standing next to him in the premiere. Tom Hiddleston,
that
of course.
was I haven't seen that, so but
It's funny because have you noticed that they posed so close together, and a lot of fans have already put this together that they're basically like kind of like usher their sort of attention to the fact that they're one person.
well yeah, the fact is that there is a photo that has revealed that Loki is gender fluid.
Mm.
So,
So basically, the woman version that she's playing, I forget the name of the actress, but like they're basically kind of trying to already put that in place, like because there's already people that have basically sort of worked out what the ending could already be for this series. But at the same time, obviously, the series end won't be the series end because series 2 of Loki has already been greenlit, so that's already happening. So we're gonna get another Loki series, so that's good fun.
well, it's interesting because the thing is, like, he's gonna have to. Well, I don't know what this Loki is going to be doing because he, again, spoilers, but he knows his fate.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it makes me think that now that he knows his fate, Morpheus, who's played obviously by the amazing Owen Williams, Owen
Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow! Yeah, we need to do it.
Oh wow, you got my name wrong. Okay.
Oh wow, my name is Morpheus. Yeah, honestly, the riff in between the two of them is just amazing. That should just get an award on its own. Like, I think that Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson just hit it off like
He's a great actor, and people forget he's also a very talented screenwriter. He's collaborated with Wes Anderson a lot.
Yes.
So if you're any Wes Anderson fans, then the talents behind it. Like, I think people give him too much shit for it because
what, Owen Wilson?
they just. Yeah, like he did have a streak where he was making a bit of like crap every now and then.
I get the feeling that like there's some sort of quote by some sort of director, probably someone famous or mid-famous, I don't know, basically saying you're going to make some terrible ones and you're going to make some great ones as well, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like he got his foot into the door with Wes Anderson, like that with Bottle Rocket, which was originally a short film. Then they made a feature-length version of the film. And a bit of trivia here, like it's actually not the first time Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston have worked together.
No, I believe they have, yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen the film, but I know that they did share a scene in Woody Allen's film Midnight in Paris.
I haven't seen it, but I did know that, yeah. That's right. And it's good though because if I remember rightly, we spoke about this yesterday or the day before when we had a quick catch up for the podcast. Is that the two of them, because they've worked together before, they know how to do a really good riffing conversation, and because of that, some of that conversation was kept in Loki, wasn't it? I believe.
Yeah, like it's just I would not be surprised either way.
It's,
so
it's an American and a British, sort of like pairing. It's almost like the sort of overseas version of like Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. Like the two of them kind of like just know each other's strengths, and like you can even say it's like the Trip duo, Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon. Like you know that they just have that really good parity between each other. Like they just know who's going to say something next. It's like it's that divine pairing that like not every actor has. Like those two calibers come together, and they make an experience that much better. Like, you know, like, so there's so many different films and TV shows where there's, you know, clips that have been kept in because like they weren't supposed to happen, but they actually made the experience better.
Yeah, I mean, you really do feel like they just got that chemistry that really hits it off in the get-go. And it's also a really good episode because obviously this is a very new thing for just casual Marvel fans that have been following just the films. So just to see the world of what the TVA is and everything is like, it's really cool. Like it's not showing a lot, but it's enough to get an idea who they are, how they work, and it really is interesting what they can do with it. So I'm really kind of pretty much excited to where they go next.
Exactly.
Even though I know a lot of people have already seen episode 2, which
because of a glitch,
those who. Well, I don't think it's a glitch. I think it's to those who have got major YouTube channels, so they've managed to get access to the first 2 episodes.
Oh, through Marvel potentially.
Yeah, someone like I know, like Double Toasted. I know Beyond the Watch, I think. And
Emergency Autumn hasn't, but he did do it. For those who haven't watched it, he did a brilliant breakdown of the first episode. It's about half an hour long, and then he's done one of the second episode trailer. I think they released the second episode trailer the same day or the next day. I can't remember. But like, obviously, like there's a good bit of tip-offs for the next episode. And actually, something I quite like about this is that it gives me a very sort of like, it's not the TVA facility, I guess, or universe, or where because obviously, as they said in the show, obviously spoilers again, they are basically placed at the end of time. So it means that they time moves very differently there. They can manipulate it. So obviously, like as you saw in the episode, Loki basically manipulated the officer by putting that thing on her, and he was able to basically like scrub her back and forth like she was like a pinata or something. Like, well, not like a pinata, like like a boomerang, not a pinata, but like he basically was like beating her to shit essentially. And I mean, I'm surprised she didn't throw up. I was expecting there to be a scene where she literally got over to Morpheus and the guys up top and was like everywhere. But I don't know, maybe that wasn't the intention, and it would have probably ruined it. But I love the scene, and I'm sure you're the same. You love the scene where the drawer opens and you just see all the Infinity Stones there, and they do fuck all. And then obviously
they're completely, and that's what Loki has realized is that like power just absolutely means nothing.
It's locked to one set of universes.
Yeah, and it's just the fact that even I looked at it, I went, Are those Infinity Stones?
And even the Tesseract as well. The Tesseract, like he's just sitting. They literally just. So I guess that they've got like protection from the Tesseract when they went to get it from Tom.
Well, they did say that he can't, like, because he tried to get his knives out that he usually can do, but
and he tried to do that big chest thing in front of the judge, like. He's like, yeah, you can't use the powers here, mate. Yeah. Fuck.
No, he just tried to get his knives out, and they were like, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, hang on, give me a second. And it just keeps doing it. And it's like, powers don't work in here. So
it's actually really funny.
So it is pretty. So yeah, it's a really. So I'm like I said, I'm glad that I was proven wrong that they were able to make something really interesting with it, and
it's paid off because it's now the top premiere, isn't it? So. The best premiere episode. Honestly, like I kind of felt bad in my mindset for a moment, thinking, really, did Loki one whole character take over? Two bigger main characters, in my opinion. Still, like or 3 main characters, like, or 4 if you want to say Vision as well. You got Wandervision with Vision and Wanda. Then you've obviously got Falcon Winter Soldier with Bucky and Sam. Don't get me wrong, those 2 series is brilliant in their own right. I feel like that Loki is a series that, a bit like how the start of WandaVision got started, could be very easy for a lot of people to get into, because it's very much, it's got that that riffing comedy of and deprecation of Loki, which you see in lots of British and American TV shows pretty regularly, and films. And then you got Owen Wilson's delightful spin, his stare, his overall kind of status, as a actor coming through. Like, you know it's obviously Morbius, you know it's this character from the TVA, but you know it's still Owen Wilson. Like, there's you can't take the Owen Wilson out of Owen Wilson in that respect. Like, he's still there in his character role, and you know that all of his quirks and all of his, things that make him him are coming out brilliantly in that show. And obviously you can see the two, Tom and him coming together, as we've already said, because they've worked together before. They've got that synergy already. They've already got it locked down, so that, is it Kevin Feige? Is it who's running
Kevin Feige?
Kevin Feige, sorry, I got his name wrong there. He's obviously realised that these two were already quite a dynamic duo already, and he's worked out basically the good synergy to happen. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to the next episode. There's so much to go with it. I mean, 3 million. What's it say here? So in America alone, 1 million people tuned in as well. So basically, between two major places in the world, 2 million people literally checked in to watch on Wednesday. And for a Wednesday, that's pretty good. That is, like, obviously Marvel knew that was a good bet.
Yeah, I think it's like there's nothing really much going on. Like, there's not that many films in the cinema right now.
No.
I mean, you've got like The Conjuring, the latest Conjuring film, and you've got Cruella, you've got a few other bits and pieces, but and The Quiet Place, which is A Quiet Place Part 2, which is doing really well at the cinema right now. But yeah, no, it's that's the thing. It's like, I mean, we are finally getting new films coming out in cinemas, which thank God, honestly. But yeah, it is pretty much saying like, well, we've got this slot where nothing's really new coming out, so we might as well just bring it out in the middle of the week. So so it is like a sort of interesting sort of strategy they put, but and one they work, and it just seems like they've just managed to
bring it together. I mean, it says here on this movieweb.com, this is an article that they've got. It basically says that that this company that registers, like, the sort of figures that check in, and it says Samba TV would also clock in 1.7 million households for the Falcon and Winter Soldier's first weekend, and 1.6 million for Wandervision for its 3-day weekend, because I think it launched over a bank holiday weekend. I can't remember. It said Wandervision premiered to 655,000 households in America, while Falcon and Winter Soldier drew in 759,000 with its first episode. But the new Loki one is basically over a 4-day premiere weekend total, alongside hang on, what's he say? So the new Loki episode is also above the 4-day weekend total for Cruella, on stream. Though the movie cost an extra $30 million for subscribers, $30 for the subscribers to watch. So basically, they're saying that even though a premiere had already come out in that same space a few weeks, the premiere did pretty well as well. So people have definitely been interested in watching Cruella early. So that's maybe the first time that the premiere content package has actually been worth buying for people.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you only have to pay 15 quid, like, well, I don't know how much it would be. Is it like $20 in the States or something?
I'm not too sure. I mean, I looked at the figures,
but it is featuring those
came out literally out that came out on Premiere.
Raya and the Last Dragon.
Oh, sorry, it's Premiere Access. Premiere Access.
But it's now available just to watch on Disney Plus, which I'm actually really interested to watch it myself, because I heard nothing but great reviews about it. And
shame really that they had quite a shitty start with the releases of movies onto the service.
Well, this is the thing where you kind of think, you had to really think about, should we just delay it until cinemas is available and more safe to go to? Because obviously, I know we keep going back to it, but obviously Tenet from last year, Christopher Nolan's latest film, came out last year in September, and it just did, I mean, it did okay considering, but it just wasn't enough you just saw the numbers and you just knew that to say yourself that it just was not going to be safe to, well, people, it's not, it wasn't that it wasn't safe, it just was the fact that people weren't that they weren't really convinced that it was the right time to go back to cinemas.
There's plenty of fans that wanted to see it, but they decided to wait because, you know, their safety was more important, and I can understand that. It's probably part of the reason why Tenet, I believe, is being run in the cinemas again sometime shortly, right? I think there's another run of it.
Yeah,
said,
I did hear that they were going to have a re-release at some point.
They might as well.
I
think it's fair to include that. I don't think there should be an issue with including that with the original box office figures, because it'll be a more accurate representation of which people actually want to see the film versus people that just don't want to go because it's not safe. So
yeah, I mean, it's just it's really hard to kind of tell, like, it's like the thing where we kept complaining that No Time to Die kept being delayed, but if you think about it in the long run, like, you know what, I'm actually glad that they've kept their guns and you went, you know what, number one, it's all about safety and good timing, and we just want,
bless you,
sorry, I turned my mic on mute, but it's all about like making sure like people get the full like big screen experience again.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I'm all for it. And you know what? I'm also a bit mixed about the whole you know, Warner Brothers releasing their films this year, like on HBO Max and at cinemas simultaneously. Even though I did think about it was a bit of a dick move that director Denis Villeneuve, who's making Dune, wanted to just be cinemas only, and then Warner Bros said, "Okay, yeah, we will," and then they just backtracked. They went, "No, we're going to release it on HBO Max as well," and
it's a big time, you know, the whole thing with like to make decisions that will be, you know, impactful for years, unfortunately, because of the, you know, with COVID really making a big rustle up of, you know, industries such as the movie industry. And I think it's companies are taking big bets and, you know, making big moves at the minute. Like, obviously, streaming services have really bolstered themselves up in the last year. I mean, you only have to take a look at the, you know, the purchase of MGM by Amazon. You know, it just tells you that the streaming companies are really demanding a lot of change right now, or maybe not even demanding, maybe placing the, you know, the change, they're basically just putting the changes in place now that probably wouldn't have been possible with a moving world as much as we have. I mean, don't get me wrong, the world is definitely back to a bit of a more of a moving state. I know more friends are going away on holiday now, obviously amongst of all these new variants that have come out, obviously still, but you know, challenges of COVID have started to loosen now, which means that, you know, there's more chance to make bigger bets. Like, for example, myself, I go out and shoot more often now, doing more portrait photography. You've been going out doing more, you know, filming recently. There's a lot more safety involved now, which means industries can start to rebuild and bring back.
There is sign. I mean, yeah, I mean, there is signs that it's slowly getting there. Like I said, like I had filming in February, and then I had filming last week on Tuesday, and then I'm going to be having filming in London next Tuesday. So it is building up. It is slow because it is still like, you know, pre-pandemic, like you still got a 50-50 chance on being picked for these type of roles. So,
yeah, we haven't got to an endemic yet, so we're really still much like, people still think that we're in lockdown. I think that we're like in a semi-lockdown really at this point.
But I mean, obviously, we don't want to keep talking about it. But you know, but it's a good thing to mention that obviously they're trying to push more people to get their first jabs, and it is showing that even with the variants like the Delta and the India variant, which is pretty much the same thing.
Is it Alpha and Delta, right?
I don't know about the Alpha, but I know there was a Delta.
Yeah, I think it's called Alpha, the Indian one. Yeah, it is. I think it's called that. Yeah.
Okay, but they're pretty much the same thing, and
it's just a more friendlier name for it.
And it's it has shown that it's not much of a concern. I mean, it has arrived in Northern England, but it hasn't been reports, not that to my knowledge, that it's enough to be a concern as of yet. And
no.
But it is early signs. Well, actually, speaking about coronavirus and filmmaking, despite the fact that Tom Cruise yelled at those people with the leaked audio uh, file that was put
Oh yeah,
online,
yeah.
it is now shut down its production because somebody got tested positive with
Yeah.
coronavirus.
So I don't know whether that was because of the carelessness or something, just in general. I mean, you can't stop it happening all the time. Like if you've been careless, then I think that's what he understands. Like he understands if you're allowing it to happen as opposed to it just happening because it's everyday life and you're gonna pass someone that might give it you. It just happens.
But the other thing that you have to take it into account, like shutting down a production costs money.
Oh gosh, no, yeah, I agree. It's not cheap.
And the thing is, like, it's the very simplest thing to do. Is like all you have to do is just wear your bloody mask, social distance when you're not required to be near anyone, and just stick to the areas where you're supposed to be. That's all it takes. But people just like I've been hearing people on set that there are some people where they just don't follow the rules, and it's just like you don't want to be those people that takes things too seriously, but at the same time, like, you don't want to be that person that is responsible for shutting a whole production down.
No, no. On the flip side, of that though, the good some other good news. Harrison Ford has been spotted starting Indiana Jones filming now in where in Tyne and Wear in the UK. So that's good. So that's basically over by Liverpool and Cheshire sort of way, I believe. Tyne and Wear is.
Yeah.
So he was photographed by Terry Blackburn on Newcastle. So wrong country. Sorry, Tyne and Wear is Newcastle. I got my size confused there. Newcastle Quay earlier on 2 days ago. This was after he'd been cycling nearby. They said that they've been seen basically like having a break from filming, but he's currently filming the adventure series in Northumberland's Bamburgh Castle right now. The tourist destination is currently closed until the 14th for filming, so 2 more days, and props including World War II military vehicles have been snapped, being delivered to the coastal location. Nearby residents have been told to expect the sounds of gunshots and explosions as part of the spectacular. So Indiana Jones is making its UK debut, guys.
I don't. So hang, I'm trying to think. World War II vehicles. I don't get that because
it's not completely modern at the minute. Then,
well, no, but obviously, he was. I mean, obviously, when it was World War II, he was obviously much younger, and then by the fourth film, this was like the 50s, I think.
I think it's probably just a resurgence of the weapons. I've just sent you the link to the news story, so you can have a look at it as well. But okay. Yeah, I get it. It's.
I can imagine it would just be somewhere like in the 50s, like in the previous film, where it's just like it's either the 50s or the 60s, either one. So I don't think it'll be in World War II because that would be.
I don't think that's the
so
case.
Weird.
I think it's just a resurgence of the weapons being used. But I mean, it's nice to see here that the place that the pub that Harrison went to with basically people from his team. They posted on Instagram saying, "Imagine sitting here enjoying your coffee and then look over and there's Indiana Jones." What an honour to have Harrison Ford join us today on the deck in here at the Ship's Cat. You are welcome back anytime. What a legend. And that's really nice. That shows that the fan service isn't overwhelming. It's understanding, and it's lovely because I mean, let's be frank here. How often do you get to see someone like Harrison Ford, and a movie icon?
Well, the thing that really, like, people don't realize is that having someone like him still be a huge megastar.
Oh yeah, his presence is very much felt everywhere still.
It's been going on for decades, and how often do someone like him still has that reputation, like even when he's getting close to his 80s?
Oh god, that's it. Yeah, like Harrison Ford, he's basically like a household name. Like I'm trying to think what's his name. Robert De Niro. Those two are like synonymous with the film industry, and they've been taking on movies for many years. You obviously got Meet the Fockers with Robert De Niro, and then obviously you got the Star Wars series with Harrison Ford, and obviously, of course, then the Indiana Jones series, the series that pretty much was one of his big hits for many years.
He's just made like I said, he's just made a name for himself, and the fact that he's still got that star power to this day, and the fact that the Indiana Jones series is still going, and it's I just yeah, I didn't know that it was going to be shot in the UK.
Neither did I. That was a nice surprise.
So when I saw him, like there was a photo of him in his indie outfit,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh, like, and he looks good. Like he looks like he still keeps in shape.
He
like,
looks in good shape. He does. I mean, he's obviously a white-haired man now. Obviously, there's no wet escape in that. Obviously, it's his age.
Yeah.
Even seeing him on a bike in that news story, like he actually looks like he's got good form.
Yeah, and the fact that he did say that he's still going to be doing as many stunts as he can.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, damn,
what a legend.
Okay.
Hey, imagine Tom Cruise into Harrison's
well,
age.
he's
My
pushing,
gosh.
well, I mean, that's the reason why they're shooting Mission Impossible 7 and 8 to get back to back, because I mean he's getting close to 60. And
it's crazy though. He doesn't look like he's 60. Whatever he's doing a good job to keep himself fit and
well,
healthy.
you know, like I don't know if there's any sort of work he's got done to his face.
I'm not discrediting that or anything like that. Like, if he's done the Simon Cowell and got Botox, fair enough. Like, that's up to you. That's your body, you know. That's fair enough. But obviously, not passing it off as real, you know, like say like Kim Kardashian or Kendall Jenner. Not to get into that stuff, but yeah, I mean, I just can't. I can't understand that kind of stuff all the time. But at the same time, the brilliant bit about obviously this movie is that we're going to be seeing, you know, people like Mads come through, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And they've also been, I believe it says, they're going to be seen in North Yorkshire when they're recording bits there. So that's going to be good. I'm
really excited. Speaking about Mads, like
he's been pictured in Newcastle. It says here, actually. Sorry, by the way, which is pretty nice.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to watch another round. He was nominated for a BAFTA for, and that is coming out in 2nd of July, apparently.
Oh wow! Oh, a German armor vehicle actually was delivered to the Northumberland site of the castle. Just noticed that in the sorry,
okay.
Bringing it back. But there's like replicas of different old vehicles, so maybe it's like a resurgence of like the Nazis in the movie series or something.
Maybe. God knows. Yeah.
But it's nice though. But Mads has met some fans. He's met fans in Newcastle. He's taken photos with them as well. That's
honestly nice. Like I remember meeting him at the London Film and Comic Con back in 2016. I think.
Oh, that's nice.
And I've even got a photo frame up in my room. Well, it was my mum's idea. Like, so do you want it framed? I was like, yeah, sure, okay.
You know, as much as it's a fanboy kind of thing, it's a nice thing to have. But he's one of your respected actors, so like you want to have that.
He's honest. He's honestly one of the most like just he's an absolute gentleman. Like from what I got to speak to him, and I remember like I first met him to get an autograph from, because I was like, oh my god, like it was like this is amazing. And then I lined up and I talked to him, and he mentioned about like about my spelling of my name, and he was interested. And I even said to him, like, I know this is going to be really cheeky of me to ask, but is it possible to get a photo? And he was just so polite by saying, unfortunately, there's no photography allowed. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And what I thought was his security was about to tell me, come on, just move along. But he just went forward and said to me, there is still photo opportunities to have with him. So if you're quick enough, then you could get a photo of him. I was like, oh, really? And I was like, oh, that's good to know. Thank you so much. And then I literally power walked to get a photo of him, and then got a photo of him. And he actually remembered me. I was like, you went Owen? I was like, yes, the one with the funny spelling.
Oh, so that was a separate line to the meet and greet?
Yeah, it was a different one to get your autograph, and there was a different line to get your photo.
That's probably actually quite a sensible thing, given how big events get.
Well, the fact he wasn't one of those people that just went, no, like you're not allowed to have a photo. He just went,
not here, just over here.
It just kind of went. It just made that tone like I would, but we're just not allowed to. So
at least he's honest. Like, and I think that's something a big code of like respect. Across the sort of industry. Like, there are obviously plenty of actors that just want their privacy. That's fair enough and understandable.
Yeah.
But like when you're in the public eye and you want people to respect you, the respect goes a long way just by, even if you greet a fan here or greet a fan there. No one's saying you have to greet every fan every fan.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, like, I know people just say to me that there's there's no one to say that you can't go up to meet your idols in public. All you have to do is just ask and just compliment them. Just say,
what's the worst they can say?
Hey,
no.
I just want to say quickly that like I really admire your work and I admire you as a person. That's all I want to say. That will be my thing because
it makes your day. It makes their day.
I would hate to ask them like, hey, can I have a photo with you? If
it just feels a bit cringe, doesn't it?
Well, it just feels like, you know, it's a bit like, you know, but I would do that's the thing, if I were to, you know, be a fan or even as a celebrity, I would do what Emma Watson would do, and what she normally does is she says, I can take a photo with you, but but just promise you to post it like 2 hours after we've met. Because
yes, for their privacy.
Because well, it's not just the privacy, but therefore, at least when people see a photo of them, then they won't be able to look at the location and go, "Oh, I know where they are."
Well, that's what I mean. Like, so you're giving them, you know, a bit of caution time, so like they don't have to be pinned to where they are, because you know it's like, I mean, the Sidemen literally did a video where they were in Camden Town, and like it didn't take long before there were lines outside the place that they were at to basically get a photo with them, and like that just shows you sometimes that the fan base just doesn't care. They'll just start queuing anywhere, and like people are overwhelmed. Normal people who run business, I mean, say normal people, you know, everyday people, everyday folk who are running businesses, and they don't expect, you know, someone with this sort of stature to come through, like KSI or even just the Simon in general. Like, obviously they're picking up, you know, a lot of popularity now, and as you say, you know, it's respecting that. Like, fans just come through at any age and expect the best out of their fan, you know, out of their celebrity. So it shows you that, you know, you can just walk up to somebody, say you're happy, you know, with their work, you love them, and if it's nice to see you, and you know, just even a chance to shake their hand off, you know, elbow bump at the minute is it's something that will never leave you. Like a photo tells 1,000 words, you know, obviously, but it's also just, you know, just having that experience. Like, you haven't got a showboat to anybody, you know, you met them. It's simple as that, right?
Yeah, definitely. I just saw something. So I follow, it's going off sidetrack, but I follow this Instagram account called Confession Box UK. And it is absolutely, some of it is like so funny, but it's a bit cringe as well. So this latest one that just come out is saying, I worked as a restaurant manager. One night we had this utter Karen demanding a cheese board. She approved me going to the shop and buying her some different cheeses, which we'd add to her bill. Instead of buying cheeses like Gouda, Edam, and Brie, I bought cheese string, Baby Bell, and Dairy V triangles. Chef plated it, made it look posh, and I took great pleasure in delivering it. Charged her 20 quid for the privilege.
That's brilliant. I love that. I absolutely love that. Hey, who couldn't say a little bit of Baby Bell on your food would be bad? You know, Baby Bell's amazing.
And there's a confession, and another confession one from Woolwich, and this person says, I write for a craft beer blog. I always wax lyrical about the latest overhopped IPAs, go on about their aromas, flavors, and palates. The truth is, most of them are rank, and you can't beat a nice cold can of Carlsberg or any other lager that beer snobs look down the nose at. That's
so true. I agree with that. It's just going back off of the one about the cheeses. I actually yesterday had McDonald's latest offering, like the you know, the special edition, what it lasted until like the 15th. It's the Clubhouse double with bacon. I had mistakenly taken off in my haste the cheddar cheese, which was on the burger, and I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? Then I remembered we've got mature cheddar cheese and you know, mature cheddar in the fridge. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting that out. Cut a slice, stuck it on the burger, gave it a tiny bit of chance to, like, you know, sort of melt in, and it was much better than just normal cheddar. It was so good. Like, mature cheddar cheese on most things, like beans on toast and, you know, burgers, just adds that more extra flavour. So, like, maybe the Baby Bells added an extra bit of flavour that she didn't even realise.
I don't know, maybe. But lastly, I'll just, and this is one I just went, yep. This person's from London. They said, before I started working from home, if I needed a shit in the morning, I'd wait until I was in work and clocked in so that I was getting paid to poop.
Yes! I love that.
I do that.
Hey, we all go to the toilet when we need to, and like, we just know that we're just sitting there crapping one out going, Okay, that's another hour done.
I'm getting paid for this.
Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised actually if doing, you know, reading out these sort of confessions on the podcast would make its own like little sort of segment of the podcast. I think I quite like that. It replaces, you know, what's Donald Trump said now. I guess that would be the case.
I guess so. Maybe we should just get people to.
Yeah, send us your confessions, guys. Maybe we'll set up a confessions email or something.
Put, like, you know, what is a confession and obviously we'll keep it anonymous, so we'll keep it like non-binary or, you know.
Nothing that can link back to you. Like,
we won't give any hints like who it may be. So
if we haven't already done it on our Instagram story, we'll put it in the show notes, like an email address you can just send it anonymously to. Because we would do DMs, obviously you can link that back to somebody. So yeah,
but that's
like a good idea, you know, for a segment.
But those are absolutely like every time I see one. I mean, there's some more raunchier stuff.
Oh, I love a bit of raunchy stuff.
But it is like it always makes my day because I always just go like, that's absolute genius.
Would you say that raunchy is quite a British word? Would you say?
I think so, because I don't think I've ever like it just kind of sound like you're going around like Austin Powers, like,
oh,
in
that's
America. It's like, do I make you raunchy, baby?
Do I get you going, baby? Whoa. Oh, I needed that. That was a good lift up. That was funny.
Honestly, go check them out. Let me grab their thing again.
What did you say it was? It was. I looked it up because we've got our phone on the screen for the stopwatch in a minute. So
yeah, it's all confession box UK then _
Yeah. Something I do quite like. I know a few friends who have either following or have started anonymously confession boxes for universities, and some of them are really funny to read through. I'm only gonna do like a taster here, and I'm not gonna say the uni either. This is a taster one for you. This is quite funny. Here we go. So my flatmate told us he shagged his girl because he didn't want to admit he is virgin. Turns out the girl he lied about shagging was his cousin.
Oh, man.
That's the worst one I've read, and the caption that they put below that: "Sweet home Alabama." That's it, guys. Get in with your cousins and don't know it. 7 seconds of heaven, you know. Oh man, there
was a news story I just randomly found that apparently like it was so cringe that I was like, oh my god, these two male gay lovers found out they were brothers. I was like, oh fuck,
that's mad.
So yeah, it's just news, it's just stuff like that. I just find it very amusing. So
oh yeah,
but yeah, like I don't know how we went from like talking about Loki to confessions about taking a shit and being paid for it. So, but hey, whatever gets us going throughout the day.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, like I think stuff like confessions and, you know, the like have actually become like either like a sort of safe space to have a good laugh with someone about. Like,
I mean, unless
like,
the person is
obvious.
like unless the person comes on the show and they're like not like embarrassed about talking about it, then by all means, like if you're more than happy to just kind of be open about it, then that's up to you. But if you rather like we do like sort of secret like confessions, then we can do that, but obviously keep it anonymous. And
you know what, I think it'll even be more funny to even if we don't have any initially really quickly, because obviously quite a small podcast still, like there's no getting around that. Is it like when we have guests on, if we like, you know, read some confessions from like, you know, like different confession Instagram accounts or Twitter accounts, even that confessions box one, I think that'll be good fun. Like, because obviously we're still respecting the keeping it quiet, like not saying who's who, and you know, there's some mystery to it. I think actually mystery to confessions is actually what makes confessions exciting to listen to and read about, because you know, if you know who the person is, it might take the fun out of it or take the wind out of the sails.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, it's just a spontaneous idea. Like, it's just like maybe it might not be a good idea, which, you know, but yeah, no, it's like that's the sort of thing. Like we, you know, obviously we could do like when I come up to Birmingham, and then get like someone like Alison Helen like on the show, and then just talk, like get enough drinks and be like, what should we talk about? Like that will be really embarrassing when we find out about the recording. I know.
Yes, for those who are wondering, so Alice Key, Keay, so Alice Key, all one word on Instagram, and then Helen J_XX is who we're talking about. For those who aren't following the podcast and also know our Instagram worlds completely, we are hopefully going to get the two of them on the podcast at some point. Those two, when they come together, are absolutely like, they're fucking funny. They are brilliant. We will probably also talk with them about the things that have been big issues for women in general. They both want to talk about something like that, and it was something that they both was interested in talking about a while ago on the podcast, but we just couldn't get them on because of time.
Yeah, wasn't it like one of them? I'm not gonna say here, but it one of them wanted to talk about it, but then there were certain issues that
Tom was a bit bad in the end, and obviously like the last thing you want to do is to keep opening a bit of a tough topic.
Well, just touching on an open wound that's still fresh. So,
but just in general, I think with a lot of these sorts of things have really helped people. There's a podcast that I listen to from Cal Freezy on YouTube, who's linked with the Sidemen crew, and Burnt Chip as well, and they both do a podcast called the Fellas Podcast. It's brilliant. Like, they do a confessions bit at the end, like where they don't say the name of the person. They sometimes call them Billy or Millie or something like that. They give them a random name, and whether they got a guest on or not, they'll try and dissect what the situation is, what they can do, whether it's a confession or they need some help, advice for love and stuff, which is nice. It's that kind of thing's really interesting for people who don't know who they are, the situations and everything. And they also have a podcast episode series, which is video only, I think, on YouTube, called The Fellas Mysteries, or something like that. I can't remember the name. And it's funny, actually. It links with DB Cooper, which was, of course, inside of the latest Loki episode. I think the timing was perfect for that.
Which also, funny enough, I actually starred in a recent BBC HBO documentary film with that. So, yeah, that was kind of cool.
DB Cooper, for those who don't know, I'm going to keep it pretty short because I think you should go and watch the Fellas mystery video about it, or watch the Loki episode. In so many words, he's basically sort of an iconic legend bank robber. I guess he's some sort of robber of such. He was able to keep his cool on a plane, giving a note to somebody, that obviously one of these attendants on the plane, saying that he had a bomb. He basically wanted this sort of money, and I don't know how someone could keep their their composure and status like that. But if you want to see a representation of it, go and check out, I guess, any YouTube video, or check out the Fellas Mysteries video,
or the documentary I'm in.
Yes, what's the documentary called that you're in?
It's called the Mystery of DB Cooper, and you can find it in the UK on BBC iPlayer, or if you're in the States, it's on HBO Max.
Fantastic. I'll say, what other things have we got to talk about? Have we got much else to talk about?
Just a little bit. So obviously we've been talking about Marvel, but
we'll throw DC a bone.
On the DC side of things, Aquaman has finally got a subtitle that director James Wan has just announced. So it's called Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So
seems like a very Atlantis sort of driven title, that does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
know. Land.
I mean, I haven't read much of Aquaman's comics.
No, I've not really saw much of I've watched obviously, I forgot what's his name. I forgot, it's got his name in my head a second ago. Who plays Aquaman?
Jason Momoa.
Obviously, I really respect the actor. He's a great actor. He's been in stuff like C on Apple TV Plus. If you've not seen it, brilliant acting in that. Just in general, let's be honest, he's a heartthrob. He's a big, he's basically in many respects, another Rock.
If you're talking about if you're talking to women that loves muscular men with long hair and beards, that's the guy.
Just say the word Momoa, and they'll know who you're on about. Momoa.
Yeah,
Momoa comes back with Aquaman too.
But yeah, I mean that the annoying thing was there was supposed to be a Trench spin-off film, but that got cancelled amongst other films like the New Gods and but yeah, it would just be interesting to just kind of find out what that Lost Kingdom is, or where they're going to go from it. And I mean, apparently, I don't know if they've still got Amber Heard on board, because apparently loads of fans were trying to get her removed.
Oh yeah.
Just because of the whole situation. Yeah.
I guess the only other bit of news that we can speak about at the minute, like obviously Apple just had their worldwide developers conference on Monday, and they announced obviously iOS 15. There's so many new amazing features in it. Just to name a small brief few, SharePlay. You'll be able to listen to music for Apple Music, or watch something on Disney Plus, or screen share to somebody. You can also now get Android technically through an invite through a FaceTime link on Android and Windows now, which is quite cool. They can obviously join in with the SharePlay features. That would make sense. There's a SharePlay API which allows people, companies, to basically integrate it into their apps. So that means at some point we might see Netflix, YouTube, so you might be able to sit and watch a YouTube video with someone on FaceTime. Obviously they're trying to bolster FaceTime now to be a sort of, Zoom killer. I don't think it's going to be a Zoom killer in any major respects. Obviously it's not on many other platforms other than Apple's own devices. But yeah, I mean, that's a really good, introduction to make FaceTime a much more exciting product. You can get portrait mode now in there, so basically it'll, fuzz the background behind you. They've got better settings now for listening to somebody talk with loud noise behind them. That's a lot more exciting now, that you can have a more better experience, because that's one thing that I've always kind of find it really annoying about FaceTime, that sometimes you just completely get a pixelized screen and then it just has issues. Saying that though, also a lot of those new changes, like the portrait background and the audio changes, are going to be available as APIs, so Zoom can use them. And if you want a other service like, let's say, WhatsApp video or Facebook Messenger video or something like that, you can use them on those services as well. So there's definitely no sort of it's exclusive to just one thing, which is great. It's the same reason why the new iPad that can do the following you around the room can be done on Zoom as well, which is great. There's also now live translation, so you can now basically translate anything in the operating system. That also paired up with live text, so you can now, if you see a poster or see something on a TV screen, or someone's written something on a whiteboard, you can put the camera open, hold your finger on it, and you can take that as text and copy it into a document, or a photo. You can end up just saving it as a photo. You can also translate live different things that are there, like what dog breed are you looking at in a photo, which is similar to Google Lens, if you've ever used Google Lens, but it's a bit more of a fleshed out, integrated into the operating system experience, which is not just on Android now. It's an iOS thing as well now, which is great. What else is there? I'll go and check out the iOS 15 thing. iPad has got widgets finally on the home screen. That's a good experience to have now. You can now do quick notes from the bottom right corner of your screen. You can just swipe up from the bottom right, and it's on the Mac as well, and literally just grab up to do a quick note with your Apple Pencil. And the iPad has got universal control now, which basically means you can use your mouse and keyboard from another Mac or another, so like an iMac or a MacBook, and basically bring them over to the iPad screen. So you don't need a keyboard or mouse now for your iPad, and you can drag things over. So let's say you've got a bit of video footage or a photo or some text, you can drag that across one Mac from an iPad to another Mac, like iMovie or in Final Cut Pro X or something like that. So that now really opens up a whole other thing going on with that kind of thing. You can do so many cool things. And then the final thing, I think, which you will like, is that you'll be able to AirPlay from your phone or another device that's linked to your iCloud to your Mac, and use your Mac as a video experience now. So you could screen share your phone to your Mac, put some music on with AirPlay too, or you could put Netflix up on your computer screen. Pretty cool, right?
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. No, it's the more that Apple is making it more accessible to do a lot of things. I just think it's just cool. Personally,
honestly, there's so many cool things. Definitely check out the iOS page on their website. I'd say some people have complained saying that this isn't a great software update, but honestly, I think they're all talking shit. I think there's a lot more now that there is in there. FaceTime alone, I think that's a great update on its own.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm just trying to think what else is there to.
I think we're probably good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think the next time we'll probably come online is that we may have somebody on board. But we'll just have to see what happens. I think we're probably soon to have possibly another sort of creative meetup at some point, and Yeah, like, and things on my end, it's just basically just working, just because obviously we're doing a lot more work now. Now, just because they've now pushed the age from 25 to 29 years old, so they can get vaccinated.
Yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it? That they finally like they're working out. I mean, let's be honest here. I've had my first vaccine. Now you're double up. Now you've got both yours.
I'm fully protected now. So,
but at the same time, like it's good because like we both got called up early. Obviously, you got called up because your NHS vaccination program that you're doing. So obviously, you need to be vaccinated sooner. But I got called up on my GP literally like 1 or 2 weeks before 25s and unders got called in, which is brilliant.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so we're probably gonna get. Well, the funny thing is that we've been getting a lot of patients like just coming up to our vaccination center, and they're saying, "Oh, like I thought I was gonna get Pfizer," and I'm like, "Well, where did it say that you were gonna get that?" But okay,
that's it.
But no, it's so yeah, things are on the rise again. Like, we just have to wait until Monday if any announcements going to get made. Until then, I'm just gonna keep doing my thing, and then I'm sure you're gonna do your thing. Like,
that's it, yeah.
And yeah, so
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, so a nice little short episode just to kind of keep us going. And but yeah, no, I like I said, I think I'm probably going to head up into Birmingham at maybe some point later this month, or at least in July, just because getting a train ticket up there and back is it's like,
oh yeah, it's a lot of palaver, but it's not even the palaver.
It's like, it's like quite a bit of money, and it's also takes a while to get there. So
the annoying bit is that hotels are cheaper in the week, but the trains are more expensive in the week. So like the two don't correlate, do they?
And no, and also booking a hotel in London is actually a bit cheaper during the weekend, especially on a Sunday.
And at least at the minute, definitely, yeah. They're trying to get the people back in.
So, but yeah, no. So I'm definitely going to be up there at some point. So once I'm allowed to do that, well, once I'm able to do that, then we can definitely do more of an in-person podcast episode with with Helen and Alice one weekend, and
also we can hopefully do that mukbang at some point. That'd be good fun.
With what? Sorry,
doing the mukbang, like the idea we had like to do like an episode where we chat and eat like in a hotel room and videos.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. No, like I don't know another name for it, but yeah,
it'd be a good way to kick off the video series potentially as well, like where we can actually do video as well.
Yeah, for sure. I just there's just so many opportunities on the rise right now, so it's just
good fun.
But yeah, I just gotta make his dough. Like, that's all.
Oh yeah, that's it. Maybe I'll make that dough. But yeah, on that good note, guys, we'd like to thank you again for joining us for this episode of the What Topic Podcast with your host, of course, again, Josh Deakin at Mr. Josh Deakin,
and your co-host Owen Burkett at Owen.Burkett.
Yeah, and for everyone listening, make sure, of course, to stay safe, wear that mask, and have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you, hopefully, next week.
And also, if you've got the opportunity, get yourself vaccinated.
That's it. Good point. So stay safe, wear that mask until you're told not to, and get vaccinated if you haven't already yet.
All right, take care of yourselves, and
see you later, guys.
Next episode.
That's it. Ta-ra.